The morning of August 6th was like any other. I remember the way the sunlight danced through the shoji screen in my room. My little sister giggled while brushing her doll's hair. The smell of miso soup filled our small wooden house. My mother hummed softly while setting the bowls. I buttoned my school uniform, thinking about nothing more than a quiz that morning. On the streets, people bowed and smiled. Vendors set up stalls. Someone was tuning a radio. The air was warm, but not too hot. The sky, clear, impossibly blue. I had no idea that above that sky, death was already falling.
At 8:15 a.m., I looked up at the sky. For a moment, there was a strange stillness, as if the world inhaled and held its breath. Then, a light. Not lightning, not the sun. A white light, brighter than anything I'd ever seen, tore through the sky. It didn't glow, it swallowed. The air turned solid. My ears heard nothing, just silence, like underwater. My skin burned before sound even arrived. And then it hit. The roar, the shock, the blast so strong it ripped buildings like paper. People vanished mid-step. A city unmade in an instant. I couldn't scream. I didn't even know if I was still breathing. The air was warm, but not too hot. The sky, clear, impossibly blue. I had no idea that above that sky, death was already falling. Everything stopped. No birds, no wind, no voices, just silence. I couldn't hear my own breathing. Smoke drifted like ghosts across the ground. Shadows lay where people once stood. I rose to my knees, or tried to. My hands were raw, my skin peeled. Around me, nothing was familiar. My house, gone. My school, rubble. My street, a graveyard. Faces, burned, blinded, wandered, eyes open, but seeing nothing. A man screamed, but his voice was dry, broken. People looked like charcoal. Some sat still, holding the hands of others who no longer moved. I wanted to cry, but there were no tears left. The silence screamed louder than the bomb ever could. The fires came next. At first, just smoke curling from the wooden eaves. Then, flames, hundreds of them. The city caught fire like dry grass. Wind roared through the alleyways. Not natural wind, but created by the fire itself. A firestorm. It pulled air into the flames, feeding them, making them move, hunt. I ran, or tried to, but heat pressed from all sides. Buildings collapsed behind me. The air itself burned my throat. I saw people jump into water tanks, but they boiled. One man sprinted with a child in his arms. Both vanished into a wave of fire. The road was a trap. Every step felt like walking through an oven. And yet, we moved, we crawled, staggered, screamed. I couldn't recognize my street anymore. Just walls of fire, collapsing roofs, and faces without names. Every corner promised safety and delivered flames. We thought we had survived. The fires had passed. The sky cleared into a strange, dusty orange. Some wandered the streets in shock. Others searched for family. I thought the worst was over. I was wrong. Hours passed. Then the symptoms began. My neighbor coughed, red. His skin started peeling off in sheets. A girl collapsed without a sound, her eyes open. Another held her stomach as blood seeped through her dress. A boy laughed, confused. He couldn't recognize his own mother. We didn't know what radiation was. They called it picadon, the flash and the boom. But this was different. The blast may have spared us, but something unseen was already inside our bones, our blood, and we had no warning. My hair started falling, my teeth felt loose. The world became quiet and terrifying again. They say light moves faster than sound. But on August 6th, 1945, it moved faster than life itself. In less than a second, entire lives were turned to shadows, not metaphorically, literally. On the steps of banks, on bridges, beneath bicycles, burned silhouettes remained where people had stood. No body, no blood, just a shadow. And these shadows stayed. As rescue workers passed through the city, they found things they couldn't explain. Melted glass, fused with coins, roof tiles warped like paper, a school lunchbox untouched, still filled with charred rice. But the child? Gone. The silence was the loudest part. No dogs, no birds, just wind. I passed a stone wall where a man once sat. His shape was burned into it, his story reduced to a mark. We weren't just dying, we were being erased. We often hear about numbers, 80,000 dead in an instant, but we never hear their stories because those voices never made it through. A mother preparing lunch. A boy walking to school with a poem in his pocket. A father adjusting his work hat, thinking about tonight's dinner. All gone, mid-thought, mid-step, mid-breath. I remember passing by a notebook, half a sentence, cut off. Today I will tell her how I feel. That sentence never finished, that love never declared. All across the ruins, there were echoes of things never said. A piano with fingers never meant to play again. A letter unsent, words never read. And the worst part, no goodbye. The bombs didn't just destroy lives, they vaporized stories. And now, in silence, we must try to remember voices that were never heard. In a single flash, tens of thousands of lives vanished, but their shadows remained, burned into walls and into history. We were never meant to forget. Not the silence, not the fire, not the lesson, etched into every second after 8:15 a.m. Hiroshima wasn't just a tragedy. It was a warning, a reminder of what we're capable of and what we must never allow again.